What's going on, everyone? So, Julie and Ray, they are the power couple that makes up I Know What You Did Last Summer. And we are getting a new legacy sequel to I Know What You Did Last Summer. And I'm excited for it. I am really looking forward to it. They are working out on bringing all of the original cast back. Obviously, not the ones that have met their end, such as, Sarah Michelle Gellar's character, as well as Mekhi Phifer and Ryan Phillippe and those characters, right? Talking, Brandy, she's even said, like, hey, I've been approached, potentially returning as Carla Wilson, but supposedly Jennifer Love Hewitt and Freddie Prinze Jr. are supposed to return as Julie James and Ray Bronson, I believe was his last name. But the question remains of how are they going to approach their relationship in the upcoming third installment with them. Obviously, there was a third movie. There was even a series, but it had nothing to do with Julie James and Ray and all that, right? It was kind of like, it's an urban legend thing, and like, it just, that third movie was was awful. So let's pretend like that movie didn't exist. This is the third installment in the I Know What You Did Last Summer with Ray and Julie, Jennifer and Freddie. And what we've seen is this roller coaster of their relationship. They were this couple, happy in love, kids, in high school, just, first loves, right? They have this tragic incident that happens that basically causes a rift in their relationship. They break up, they rekindle through the trauma that is, the hook man, who turns out to be Ben Willis, right? And through that encounter, you see in part 2, they're kind of dealing with this like long distance relationship, and they're trying to make it work, and they're trying to kind of navigate that, and Ray's constantly choosing work over his girlfriend. And then you have Will Benson, get it, Ben's son, right? If you remember part 2, Will trying to kind of infiltrate and get with Jennifer Love Hewitt, which I don't blame him at all. Julie James, I get it. But they, at the end, you see them living together. They, plan was to get married. They got the ring. They got all that stuff. However, we know that part was a dream, right? You saw Julie dealing with these hallucinations all throughout that film, even at the end of part 1, right? It's kind of a thing. So, is the reality of them living together really a thing? Are they happily married? And this is, when was the last film? It was 1998, I think was part 2. So, I mean, you're picking up, what is that, like 26 years, 27 years later by the time the actual movie comes out. So, do they have children? Are they married? Were they married and got divorced? Right? Like, where are they as far as the spectrum of their relationship goes? Now, depending on how that plays out, could require them to have to rekindle or, kind of come full circle again, right? If they're married, well, then they're already together. You don't need an explanation or anything like that as to why have they, how do they cross paths again to take on, Ben Willis or whoever it is, which you got to keep that in mind. Is it going to be Ben Willis again? But, how is that going to play out? How is that going to, take effect? Also, they're, in their 50s, 40s, late 40s in this film, right? Depending on how many years it takes place. But I mean, even in real life, right? Freddie Prinze Jr. is like 48, 49, something like that. And then I know Jennifer Love Hewitt is in her 40s. She's like 45, I think. So you're talking about, you got to imagine that those characters are going to translate to similar age in the film, right? So if they're not married, but they have children, right? Maybe now you have that easy tie-in, but are the children going to be involved? Because you imagine if they're both in their 40s, they're They probably got some kids, but their kids could also be grown, right? Their kids could be off at college or whatever. Maybe that's what it is. Maybe that's how they kind of get involved in this, right? Where, Julie and Ray are dropping their kids off at college and, maybe they're not together or maybe they are together, however you want to approach it. But that's how they are in the same place in this area and why the Hookman's comes and they try to leave and their tires get slashed or whatever. Like, getting them to kind of get involved in the Hookman is not the hard part. It's the curiosity of where are they as far as the relationship goes. Are they a happy couple? Are they married? Are they, now, like I said, do they have kids? How old are those kids? Do we get this family dynamic? Do we get this family relationship as far as, Julie and Ray go? Or is it toxic? Does Julie consistently have these night terrors and, she's dealing with trauma and stuff that maybe eventually is too much for Ray, or, maybe Ray is still focused on work and he's just a workaholic and, it impacts Julie in the way that she approaches the, there's so many directions that you can go with this story of, Ray and Julie and how is their relationship kind of take place, because that's always been a big focus, right? Like, you might be wondering, like, wait, why care so much about the relationship? Because it's been such a big part of the first two films, right? I mean, especially part two. Part two was like, it was pretty much all about their relationship and the struggles that they were dealing with and how, Julie's trying to be faithful and she has this temptation and, Ray is just constantly doing everything to mess it up and, it throws his little hissy fit when he comes and sees her and, she goes away and he was supposed to go with her and she's waiting for him and the disappointment, right? I mean, their status, their relationship has been such a huge part of this franchise that I do think it's worth kind of questioning and wondering, like, hey, where does this fall into place? How does this all end up playing out and working out with Ray and Julie and their relationship? But, nonetheless, as always, this is a discussion. I pass the question on to you. Let me know your thoughts and opinions down in the comments below. What do you think? How do you feel? What are your thoughts? Do you want Julie and Ray to be together? Do you want them to not stay? It's fun. It's more entertaining to kind of see their roller coaster. Do you want them to have a family dynamic? Should they have children? Right? Should there be that type of, connection and they're this family? Do you want them to be kind of like the perfect, white picket fence type family? Or do you think that, no, it should be this just kind of, not like overly toxic, but, this kind of like, there's clear struggles, there's clear rifts, there's this disconnect even. How would you like to see the relationship kind of take place and unfold and the approach of the upcoming I Know What You Did film? Me personally, I really hope that they kind of go a family dynamic route. I really hope that they are together. There has been all this time. Something happens that causes them to have to get involved with the Hookman again. And I like the idea of like the children route, right? Having their child going to college or something, right? And now there is this other kind of another layer to not only their relationship, but just having to protect their child, right? Their child is a target now because of actions that they did when they were, their daughter or their son's age, or maybe it's a son and a daughter, right? Like, I do think that could be a very interesting, just kind of fun direction for the franchise, right? Another, speaking of, because, I Know What You Did last summer was stemmed from Scream, Kevin Williamson, all of that. It was one of the Scream clones, right? The upcoming Scream 7 is supposed to have that family dynamic, right? Sydney is married and has children and all that stuff. So, the characters from the original and the classic, they're all at that age where they should have had kids. And, They should have that. And the fans, right, that grew up with it, we all have kids, right? We all have, we're all married or have been married or in relationships and stuff. And so I just think, it connects with the audience. So I like the idea. But anyway, again, however you feel, whatever your thoughts are, I'd love to hear it. So let me know down in the comments below. That being said, if you haven't liked this video, hit that like button. Helps me a lot. So we enjoy these types of videos, and I truly appreciate it. Not subscribe channel. What are you doing? Hit that subscribe button. Turn on the bell notifications. Appreciate y'all. See you in the next one. Thank you.